Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. Make sure to check in the description notes below the video on any of my videos where you will find links to all of my online shenanigans, including how to get my patterns to knit up for yourself, how to join the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, how to support me on Patreon, and where to get Watch Barbara Knit merchandise. Today we have a pattern tour. I do these videos when I release a new pattern. I do my very best to take excellent photographs of anything that I make a pattern for, but you know, there's really something to be said by seeing something in action, seeing how it drapes, like seeing the physical size of it. Even though I take the best pictures I can, it doesn't always communicate all of the information, so I make these pattern tours. And today, the pattern is a first for me. It is a particular type of item that I have never released really a independent pattern for, and that is it's a baby blanket. I'm so excited. So the inspiration, oh, and you can see it, it's so soft. The inspiration behind this is one of the Fave Fives I did a few months ago. I featured a baby blanket and y'all really responded very well to that baby blanket. Now, it was an amazing baby blanket by 10 hours or less, and I'm sure that was a big part of the response, but y'all were so excited about a baby blanket. I was like, you know what? There's a baby blanket pattern that I had like on the back burner that I really needed to move up just because I thought y'all would like it. So here it is. I'm very excited about it. It was a very calm and easy knit, and it made a super squishy thing. And the name of the pattern is A Good Wooby. Now, Wooby, W-O-O-B-Y, it's about what the size of this is. As you can see, it is a smallish blanket. It is what I consider to be wooby sized. And what is a wooby? I'm sure that you probably have a term for it, even if it isn't wooby. It's a lovey, it's a blankie. It is the small, soft piece of fabric that the child becomes attached to and drags around. Picture Linus from Peanuts, like holding it, sucking his thumb with his baseball mitt under his arm, or the piece, the blanket that ends up being surreptitiously taken to college and tucked inside a pillowcase so nobody can see it. It's the thing that brings comfort. So one of the things about it is it needs to be smallish. It is the perfect size for like a stroller or a car seat, and also the size is really good for relatively quick knitting, because a lot of times you need to make a baby blanket on short notice, and a full-size baby blanket is quite the investment of both yarn and time. This is smaller. The actual finished size of it is 21 inches by 28 inches, which is about 53 by 71 centimeters. And I knit this in DK weight yarn, and specifically one of my absolute favorite DK weight yarns. This is Miss Babs Yowza. Now, the awesome thing about Yowza is that it comes in a 225 gram skein. It is a really big skein. That 225 grams has about 560 yards of DK weight, which means this whole blanket, 2 ends. Only had to weave in 2 ends, which for me is a win. And the yarn color I thought was just perfect to be a gender neutral or unisex color. The name of it is Wandflower, Wandflower, and it's this beautiful pale green with like pops of purple and pink. It made me happy, I think. And a little bit, it might have been that my Wooby when I was a baby was yellow. So I had a yellow blankie. This one's a little more green, but for me, it's just a very comforting and beautiful color. Now, you probably recognize the similarities between this and another pattern. This pattern is based on a good scarf. The whole idea being that the instructions for this pattern are one row. That's it. You don't have to worry about right side. You don't have to worry about wrong side. It is a one row pattern. Now, and it is perfectly reversible. If you look at this side, and if I flip it over, it looks exactly the same. See? Look at that. So the only stitches involved here are knit, purl, slip, and then the edges are slip with yarn in front to create this slipped stitch edge. I'm going to hide my face so that maybe it will focus a little bit better. There are some things included in this pattern that are not included in a good scarf, and they're based on my experience in providing some pattern support for a good scarf. It's squishy. It's so squishy. It makes me so happy. I gave information, just a little more guidance, because I feel like as a very, very simple pattern, it might attract more beginning knitters. So I give a lot more guidance on exactly how you need to slip the stitches. I also give information on omitting the slip stitch selvage, because I've received some feedback that some people don't particularly care for the slip stitch selvage. I feel that it gives it a neater edge, but not everybody likes that edge. So I told you in the pattern how to do it without the slip stitch edge. And also there's some guidance into substituting yarns. It is DK weight, but if you have fingering weight yarn, then you could hold the fingering weight yarn double and knit it. You would just need, so this calls for 560 yards. You would need double that. You need two 560 yard chunks of fingering weight. You could also use sport weight yarn, and you can also use worsted weight yarn, because those are just on the other side, because size isn't really essential. It'll be either a little bit wider or a little bit narrower. You might need to go up or down a needle size depending on how you like how the fabric comes out, and you will probably need a little bit more or a little bit less yarn, but that's really not a huge deal because it doesn't really matter how long it comes out. The pattern is one row and you knit until you run out of your yarn. So this is a good Wooby. Let me see if there's any more information I need to talk about. That is really it. I have information on the bind off here, but if you don't like the bind off, you can always substitute another bind off. That is really, it's a blankie, it's a Wooby, it's easy. I've also had people who have seen me working on it and asked me if it could be a stole. And I guess, yeah, you could definitely make it a stole. It would just take a lot more yarn. You just keep on going. And it's a little wide to be a stole, but if you wanted to do a stole, if you did this on fingering weight with the same cast on, it would make it like narrower and it might work. You can always play with it. So, and okay, actually, and I have, as I said, I like to do pictures. I can show you, here are the pictures I took to try to show people how it's reversible. And I could have laid it out like completely flat, but I kind of like bunched it up so you can see, so it gives you an idea of the thickness of it. This is another attempt to trying to show how it's reversible. And again, it's scrunched up so that you can see the thickness of it. This one, I did the fold so that you could see how squishy it is, because these slipped stitches make it like a little corrugated and it makes it so wonderfully squishy. And then I actually borrowed a baby seat from someone because I don't have a baby to take a picture with, but I did grab this stuffed animal from my son and put it in the baby seat so that you can see the proportions of it and how the blanket would work on a baby sit. I couldn't find a baby to borrow. Nobody had a rent-a-baby going on. So this is a good Wooby. It is available for you to purchase right now on either Ravelry or through my PayHip store. If you have any questions about the pattern, feel free to ask me in the comments or on the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group. If you are thinking about knitting it but are uncertain about like your yarns, I would love, that's one of the things we really like to do in the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, is share pictures of like yarn that we're planning on using, and like then we can talk about, is this a good idea to use this yarn for this particular pattern, and maybe we can give you some guidance if you have any questions, or you can give guidance, but here we go. So there we go. This is a good Wooby, and I hope that it makes your baby knitting super fun and super squishy. So if you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, click that like button. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.